Hello, my name is John Burns from Final Cut Pro classes in New York City, and I wanted to share with you today what I learned about Final Cut Pro X and the way it manages its media and project files. I have my two Finder windows. One is in the Movies folder where the default Final Cut projects go. That doesn't seem like you have a choice of where to put them. And the other one is in a separate drive I have in the computer that doesn't have any Final Cut folders on it yet, except the old Final Cut Pro Documents folder. So I'm going to go ahead and boot up Final Cut Pro X. And right away it's going to make a Final Cut Events folder. And you can see it's been made on the separate drive. And here I have Final Cut Pro X open, and I have my new event right here. I'm going to name, an event basically is what's usually inside the Capture Scratch folder in Final Cut Pro Studio. It contains the media for the project that you're working on. So I'm going to go ahead and double click it, and I'm going to call it Diving Clips because I want to put some diving clips in there. And I click that, and I'm going to import some diving footage. So I'm going to go to my drive, and I have some diving clips, and I'll just take a couple of them, like that. And I don't want to copy the exact files to the events folder because it takes up too much space. So I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm going to use the proxy that take up a little space and basically show you how it works. I'm going to hit import, and it imports those diving clips into that event. And I don't have a timeline yet because I don't have a project. A project basically is a timeline. So I'm going to create a new project and call it Diving Movie. And that automatically puts it in your Movies folder in a folder called Final Cut Projects. So if we look in our Finder and we go to our Movies folder, it made a folder called Final Cut Projects, and it put the diving movie in there. So it sort of does it all by itself. So if we go ahead and we'll put a clip in here real quick. So here's, I hit my I for in, and I hit my O for out. I'm going to go ahead and put it at the end of the timeline. Okay, so I have one sequence for that project. So now I decide I'm going to do a project about cooking. So I click on this drive because I want the media to go there, and I say new event because I'll get the media in first. So I'm going to call it Cooking Clips. Okay, when I click it, it's empty, and I can hit the import files, and I can go to where my cooking clips are, and I have them somewhere in here. I'll go ahead and click that, and I'll go ahead and take in a few of these, move from there to there. Okay, I import those in. Now I don't have a project or a timeline for cooking, so I have to make that now. Otherwise I'll be editing into my diving timeline. So now I'm going to say new project. I'm going to call it Cooking Movie. Okay, say OK, and it gives me a new timeline with that project named Cooking Movie. If I look in my Finder again, and I go to the Movies folder, and I go back to the Final Cut Pro projects, it made the Cooking Movie folder and the project files in there. So I go back to my timeline, and I'll go ahead and just put a clip. I'll put the whole thing in, just so I have something in the timeline. Okay, so now I decide, okay, I want to go back to my diving timeline. The projects you can access through here too, this little reel. So I can click that, and it shows me all my projects. I can skim through them just to see what they are. The viewer's a little slow there. Okay, so I want to go to the diving movie again, so I double click it, and it brings me to that timeline. So now I want to add more diving clips, and I want them to go to the right event, so I'm going to click the Diving Clips event folder, and then I'm going to say File, Import, Files, and I'll go back and I'll add more diving clips. I'll get this one, so I want to add one. And that brings it into that event. Now the relationship too between the clips and the media is pretty much the same in Final Cut Pro X as it was in 7. You're only connecting to the media. The project file just contains the information. So if we go ahead to where the media sits, if we go to the Finder and we go to the media drive and Final Cut events, which is basically the capture scratch, and we go to the diving clips, and the media it's using is here. These are just aliases actually. But if I delete these aliases, or if I move them, or if I rename them, like say I rename the one clip in the Finder. So I change the name a little bit. I'll just put an A next to it. Okay, as soon as I click back to Final Cut, that clip will go offline. Okay, so that is how it works, pretty much the same as in Final Cut Studio. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to put up more tutorials soon. Thanks.